Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my best to make a video here. Season of Discovery is currently ongoing, as you guys probably know, and are super busy with that, so there won't be a lot of visuals for you guys to see here. That way you can just listen to it while you're leveling. In fact, I make most of my videos in such a way so that you guys can basically just listen to them, and you don't, like tab over, level, and don't have to watch anything. I'm actually making a video, my dude. Can you please stop that? That's very interesting. So my wife, for years, has been asking me, "Hey, come here. Hey, no, get out of there." Oh, has been wanting a dog. She's never had a dog before in her entire life. She's never had any pet in her entire life. So she's like, "I want a dog. I want a dog. I want a dog." So finally, I'm like, "Fine, let's get a dog. It has to be like some kind of terrier." So she ended up finding a Yorkshire Terrier. So we have a Yorkshire Terrier puppy in my room currently. I have named him Tomato. That is literally toe, as in the things on your feet, and then a May, as in month of May, and then another toe. But you have to say it in like a Japanese accent, right? So it's like Tomato, or some crap like that. Which is really funny, and I find that amusing. If he ever has a other dog, a brother, which will probably get him eventually, we're going to name him Potato. So we got Tomato and Potato. Because I am a jerk off. I have raised quite a number of dogs. I've had Yorkshire Terriers before, at least 3 or 4 Yorkshire Terriers. Not me personally, but you get them in pairs, typically. My most beloved dog was Yorkshire Terrier. His name was Toby. Very interesting. So anyways, yeah, so I got this damn puppy dog at my feet, and he is currently trying to chew on the cables to the computer, which is interesting. It depends on which, I'll yell at him, it depends on which cable he's chewing through. So, like, for example, if he tries to chew through, like, what he's doing right now, which is my headphones cable, the sooner he cuts through that with his teeth and figures out what the hell is about to happen to him, the better. I know from experience that I won't give him enough shock to hurt him at all, but he'll learn. So I'm not really discouraging him from chewing on these cables too terribly much. Hey, can you come here for a sec? Or can you, like, here, come here. I gotta make a video here. I gotta do something serious. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. So I have a very interesting way of raising dogs. I don't know why everyone likes being so strict with them, but that's not really my jam. Basically what I do is I'm, like, super, super nice. And if they bother me or I need to, like, discipline them, like, seriously, I get kind of mean. And then right back and forth, right? So it'll be like, oh, did you... Like right now we're doing potty training, and he's basically stuck in my room. And I'm a full-on degenerate. I have not showered and shaved in quite some time because Season of Discovery, it's like, what is it? It's almost 10 o'clock at night here. The wife isn't even back yet, so I can't, like, pawn the dog off on her and go take a shower. That's also the reason why I'm making this video, is because it's late at night in China. I have to wait until a little bit past like 11 or midnight before I can pull up Season of Discovery. So that'll be kind of cool. But I figured while I was doing that, I'd make a video. So this is a video I wanted to make prior to Season of Discovery coming out and prior to this damn dog being around. Is this Kargoz stuff. So So I made a bunch of Kargoz tribute videos, leveling guides and so forth, since he removed all of his YouTube videos. And this is BlizzCon 2023, and as you can see here, we got the boys. Like we got Esfand, we got this guy, I forget his name.
You to try the new
and
stuff.
then
Did you get to try it?
and then
I tried the demo.
Kargoz. Okay, so let's talk. And everyone wanted me to actually watch the Alex Sensual video. When I tried to watch it before, it had been like taken down. But I recently looked it up and I watched it. Okay, so what do I think about this? Honestly, it's definitely a moral gray area, but in my opinion, there's like a spectrum to moral gray areas, particularly when it comes to business, right? So there's like really bad moral gray area, and then there's like it's actually not that bad moral gray area, if that makes any sense. Just because I hear it's a moral gray area and I can conclude that's a moral gray area doesn't mean I'm going to automatically say that it's the worst thing in the world or it's actually terrible. So I wanted to talk about this and explain a little bit about it for a little bit. like what I see in the, I don't know what is it's like the streamer design space or the content creator design space or the design, the business, and basically I'm just going to throw philosophy at you guys here in general. I know, buckle up. Um, how did I want to say this? One sec, let me pause the video and cough here real fast. All right, cool. All right, so now that I can actually try to gather my thoughts around here, and hopefully the dog calms down and stops biting the cables, is there are certain elements to life and the human condition that you're going to find in any space where human beings are competing against each other with, like, money and prestige and all that stuff on the line, right? This is just, it is what it is. Particularly in like an economic inclined space, right? So, for example, for a lot of these people, streaming and all that stuff is their job, and when they started out doing it, they were very interested in making a career out of it. Now, if you think about all the different types of personalities, like my bad, I'm trying to say all the different types of human personalities in conjunction with IQ levels and their innate capabilities, if that makes any sense. You're going to find some interesting dynamics at play in any space like this. And you'll see this in businesses and industries and stuff like that too. You've seen it in your workspaces and yada, yada, yada. But basically, how it works is, one sec, let me pause the video. Are you back home?
Yep.
Hooray, why you home so late?
I have dinner with my co-workers.
Co-workers, not clients or anything?
How is he behaving?
I need to go take a shower.
Okay.
Can you watch him for a bit?
Yep.
So I'm literally going to pause this video. I'm going to take a damn shower. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to remake this video like nothing happened. Everyone's probably laughing at me right now.
Why?
Well, why would they not be laughing at me?
It's making a video. It's not streaming.
Ayah. Well, should I stream showering?
No.
Ayah. All right, guys. I'll be right back. I definitely need to take a shower. I am kind of ripe. All right, be right back. All right, cool. We are back, literally a million years later, and I vaguely remember what the heck I was talking about. Okay, so yeah. So I was gonna wax about some little philosophy stuff concerning just life and dynamics in the game of trying to advance in anything when, like, money and cutthroat environment and stuff like that is on the line. Okay. So if I recall correctly, I was talking about a dynamic between your IQ and a bunch of other factors. Like basically your capabilities in any industry. Oh, all right. So basically what I'm trying to express is that in any given thing in life that human beings do, the best of the best at that thing are going to have certain traits, okay? And they're going to typically be high IQ'd, and they're or extremely naturally gifted in some way, be that gifted in intelligence or gifted in physical ability or whatever. Depends on if it matters, right? The second thing that they're going to have, and they all have, is a passion and a work ethic for doing what it is that they do. It is impossible to be at the top of your game at anything in life without both having natural gifts, not top of your game, the top of the game, period, without having both natural gifts and being extremely passionate and having a very high work ethic with whatever it is that you're doing. You can see this repeated time and time again in just about anything. What the heck is that? Is that a damn dog? Hey, I'm trying to make point here. Yeah, I see that. All right, anyways. Hey, go back. Shoo. Shoo. Hey. No, I'm being serious here. Go. Whatever. Okay. Okay, so at the highest level, that's how things look. But where things get really fascinating is when you don't look at the highest echelons, like the highest rungs of the ladder. When you look at what the environment looks like for people who are deficient in any number of these things, if that makes any sense. So for people who aren't super high IQ'd or Well, yeah. So that's another point here. If you're lacking passion to do a thing, you can't compete in general, right? A person who lacks passion, no matter what any of their other or work ethic, you could explain it that way. No matter what other abilities they currently possess, they're not going to beat a person who is deficient potentially in all those abilities but has passion. So, for example, a high IQ person with no passion cannot compete with a low IQ a person who's passionate about doing something. A talented and gifted person with no passion can't compete with an untalented but extremely motivated person, right? Like that's the second tier dynamics. So at the top of the top are always going to be naturally gifted, highly motivated, passionate, right? And then right below that, or quite a ways below that, I suppose I should say, are going to be the people who aren't super gifted. They have deficiencies in some environments, but they're willing to put in the work ethic and or they're passionate. Okay. Now, and then of course below that you have is basically everybody who lacks passion, kind of thing. Passion is the most important indicator of whether or not you can even be successful at something. And then at the highest level, and then from there, the other factors matter, if that makes any sense. Um, so okay, so what happens is naturally gifted people and extremely passionate in the same package is usually a pretty rare combination in any sport, industry, business, interest, whatever the heck, right? That's usually a pretty rare combination. And it's far, competition, if you want to put it that way, the competition is far fiercer in the second tier of these socio-political dynamics. And that would be, okay, I might be lacking in IQ, but I have passion. You know, I want to make this work, kind of a deal. And when we look at, and that's when these other dynamics come into play. Okay, so if you actually watch the Alex Central video on Kargoz, and you can kind of see it right here. A bunch of these streamers got together. So you got Tactics, you got this guy. I think that might be the guy. Some of these guys are the guys at BlizzCon. We got Kargoz here. What happens at the lower echelons is that people typically try to band together so that collectively they can be so for a number of reasons. The first reason is to gatekeep. So that they can keep people who are going to outcompete them because they do have deficiencies out. The other thing that they do is they band together to try to be more powerful collectively than they can be individually, because they're not gonna win the game as an individual in this space, if that makes any sense. Now, where things are going to get interesting for the purposes of this conversation is you can split the second tier of people usually into two groups. And that'll be your manipulative little shits and basically everybody else, whether they just don't want to be manipulative on a moral grounds, or if they're somehow just unaware of the game that they currently exist in, and subsequently they can't play the game because they don't know they're currently playing a game. And these shifty fucks are going to run circles around them, basically. All right, so what does that look like? Okay, well, let's say you're Kargoz. Kargoz and Esfand to a lesser extent are a perfect example of this. Let's say you're Kargoz. Kargoz is not that high of an IQ human being. He has some advantages in the streaming space. He definitely has the passion and the interest. That is by far the most important thing for him to have. He has the work ethic. He also has the gift of gab. He can talk forever and ever and ever. He's a good talker, which is going to pair him pretty well with that space. Hi, Tomato. Yes, I see you down there. I'm making a video. Thank you very much. Right? So he has these advantages. Now he has to decide, and these weaknesses. His weakness is that he's not a super high IQ person. He's never going to be the very tippy top creme de la creme in knowledge of anything by himself. He's not going to be what's the term I'm looking for here? A path blazer. He's not going to discover new things. He's not going to do what I do, if that makes any sense. You might wonder why the highest level IQ people, with all the advantages, don't engage in the shifty fuck dynamics, or some of them do, but most people would point out that it's actually a mistake. They're making a mistake if they engage in shifty stuff. Why? Because they don't need any of that. They already have all the advantages, right? So the people I'm talking about, at least in the streaming space, would be Asmongold, would be Joff Strife Hayes, would be damn it, there's another one that comes to mind. Preach is another one. Playing with his damn dog here to try to keep him entertained at the same time. Preach is another one. All of them, they have the passion, they have the gift of gab, they have the drive, and they're high IQ'd, and they've been trailblazers at some point in their time, and they know they can do it, right? They have everything they need. The last thing they need is enemies, right? You don't need enemies, and therefore you have all the advantages, so you don't need any additional advantages, and you don't need enemies. It's not worth being a shifty fuck and developing enemies and a bad rep for yourself to try to get little gains. But then we look at people like Kargoz, and to a lesser degree Esfand. Like, why do I keep throwing Svan under the bus? Like, I'll get to that in a second. All right, come here, doggo. Don't chew on that. Go over here. No. You go play over here. All right, cool. All right, so let's talk Kargoz for a sec, real fast. So what a shifty fuck will look like is you're basically doing a number of things. There's a number of symptoms that you look for in any industry if a person is being an untrustworthy shifty fuck. Now, there's multiple levels of shifty fuck, right? There's the untrusty variant, and there's a shifty fuck you can trust, and there's just shifty fuck you can't trust. Asmongold's a very good example of a shifty fuck that you can trust. Drakova, believe it or not, is a shifty fuck you can trust. He'll openly tell you. Usually, their symptom is that they'll openly tell you that they're someone that you probably shouldn't trust, or they can be a deceptive, manipulative shit if they want to be. They'll go out of their way to do the "you can trust me" dance, and they won't violate your trust, and that's how you know you can trust them. But then you get to, again, let's talk Kargoz for a second here. These other people that they don't have all the knowledge, and they don't have the IQ or the ability themselves to go get the knowledge and the information. So instead, what do? They steal it from other people, and then they present it as if it was their own information, if that makes sense. And Kargoz, if you actually watched his guide videos, was very good about this. So now, if Kargoz did things right, what he would do, like if he wasn't a shifty fuck, he would gather up the information, and he would be he would make a guide video, right? So you find the best people, the best of the best at something. You sit them down, you pump them for information, and then this is what Kargoz did, and then you make your PvP guides, or not PvP guides, your PvE guides for Classic World of Warcraft, and you give them the people that you were talking to as little credit and as little mention as you possibly can get away with. Now, it's a bad idea not to give them any credit, because then you'll lose them as a resource in the future. But if you watch closely, they try to give other people as little credit for the information that they have as possible. Okay, which is the first symptom that you should be observing there. Like, how much credit are they giving people? If you ever watch my PvP guides, whenever I come to something that should be accredited to Drakova, I will fall all over myself to accredit it to Drakova. I'll also give Kargoz credit where credit is due. I'll give Esfand credit where credit is due. I'll give everybody credit where credit is due, and criticism in equal order, right? That's me doing the "I am a trustworthy person" dance. It's the opposite. You'd see the opposite symptoms if I was doing the I'm a shifty fuck dance. All right, so let's continue talking about Kargoz. So Kargoz would contact
the best levelers in the world. He would pump them for information, and then he would make guide videos, and he'd basically give them as little credit as possible. He was smart about it though, so he was giving them quite a bit of credit. I'll give him that. So he's hiding the fact that he's a shifty fuck. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have the IQ to learn all this stuff. So you grab the people who do, you pump them for information, and you just make sure you're the guy who makes all the guides. You let the work effort make you the guy to go to find the leveling guide videos, if that makes any sense. Now, when it came to speed running, Kargoz was probably a trailblazer in his own right. So in that, with the speed running stuff, he didn't have to lean on anybody, and you could tell that the content of his videos changed dramatically, because he would be talking about, like, how he does things, what he does. He finds this fascinating. I'll give him credit where credit deserves. Kargoz had everything he possibly needed in the world to be a top speedrun content creator, if that makes sense. He had all the advantages in that space, but in other spaces he did not have the advantages. Other things that you'll see them doing that are shifty as hell is basically the TLDR here is they're trying to steal from other people as much as possible, giving other people as little credit as possible, and gatekeeping against the competition as much as possible, if that makes sense. So they want to dominate this space. They want to be the guy to go to. They don't want anybody smarter than them around. They want to find people who are smarter and know more about things than they do, pump them for their information and their ideas, and then present it to their bosses and their betters or to YouTube or whatever as if it was their own ideas and information or their own resources. Look at me, look how great I am. This is what cutthroat, shifty fuck life looks like in basically any competitive industry or sport at the slightly lower levels. So I'm sure you've seen this on the job before. I'm sure you've seen this in your own careers before. This is how some people play the game. Now, they do this because they have to, right? They do this, number one, because they want to win. Number two, because they have a bit of Machiavellianism to them, meaning morality. They can be a little flexible when it comes to morality and their logic and how they see things. Like, oh, I'm not a bad person, blah blah blah. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You stole this guy's this thing. You stole that guy's that thing. You didn't give this guy credit. You didn't give that guy credit. Like, I can't fucking see what's happening here, right? Okay, so the important thing to note here is that if you're a passionate person looking to advance in an industry or to break into an industry, and you are unaware of the fact that this is the world that you live in, that the higher echelons of this world are going to be populated by shifty fucks who will look to steal and gatekeep against you. It's like, oh, you're better than them? They're never going to mention your name on any of their streams or anything like that. Why would they? They don't want to promote competition, and they don't want to promote competition who has the capability to displace them, if that makes any sense. And again, you see this in jobs and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. So be aware that this is the game that you exist in, and this is the game that you are playing. Right, so you need passion. You need to realize that there are a bunch of shifty fucks that you cannot trust out there. You also need to realize that due to Machiavellianism and due to just the laws of the game in general, the higher echelons of the bracket will usually be populated by these people. They come in certain symptoms. Which there are symptoms of how you know you're currently in this group of people, and I'll give you one, for example, right? So, the people who are the best of the best at anything, right? High IQ, extremely more like naturally gifted, and they're extremely passionate and they're skilled at what they do. They don't have to make alliances with nobody. Nobody. All they need to do, the only alliance they really need to have, is not to piss off these low IQ or low ability people right below them, right? They just don't need to piss them off. But they don't have to form any alliances whatsoever, and they can just go and do their own thing. However, the low IQ or the low capability people, they have to form alliances, right? They have to group together, try to pull their resources because they have to try to outcompete with your Joff Strife Hazes, your Asmongold's, your Preach Gamings, and so forth and so on, right? They have to compete against that, and one of the only ways to compete against that and to gatekeep is to try to like pool and husband information. Blah, blah. It's a whole thing. I'm sure you've seen it before. If you haven't seen it before, remember this video the first time you see it, and you're like, oh shit, I just saw it for the first time. They have to group together. So when you watch the Alex Sensual video, you'll notice that there's a bunch of them grouping together. And we watch this video here, you can see like, oh, it's a clique of people with the exact same things that I just talked about. Everybody here, every streamer that you see, 1, 2, 3, right? And a bunch of other streamers in the background, every last one of these guys have something in common. And that is they are not the best of the best at their field. And they have deficiencies. And because of that, they have to band together. And they have to gatekeep people that they can't trust. So what ends up happening is that the shifty fucks form a clique and a group together. And the non-shifty fucks either get gatekeeped out by these guys or they form their own little competitive group together. And then at the highest echelon level, you have the best of the best who don't need to align, group together with anybody, just doing their own thing and knocking it out of the park, hitting home run after home run after home run, right? All they need to do, unless they're stupid, is not piss off the group of shifty fucks and to realize the game that they're playing. And usually people who are at the highest level, they're high IQ typically, so they usually realize the nature of the beast and the nature of the game that is basically being played. Okay, so I've been talking shit about Esfand this entire time. Let's actually talk. Let's bring Esfand into the why do I say Kargoz and talk about all the shifty stuff, shifty fuck signs that he's been showing of late. And all right, so let's talk Esfand here for a second. So I would, just so we're clear, I would rate Kargoz based upon the information and the evidence as something close to about a 6 to a 7 out of 10 on a shifty fuck scale. And I would rate Esfand a 3 out of 10 on a shifty fuck scale based upon what I've personally seen. Okay. So in my assessment, these two are not comparable, right? I would trust Esfand far easier than I would trust Kargoz at this point. But Esfand has shown signs in the past of being a shifty fuck. Now, I'm going to shit on him for a second, and at the end of this, I am going to praise him, if that makes sense. No, actually, I'm going to start out with the praise here, okay? If you are in this industry and you desperately want to make a career out of it, which was basically the story of Esfand when Classic WoW came out. He desperately wanted to make a career out of Classic WoW and streaming. Kargoz wanted to make a career out of it. A lot of these people are passionate and or desperate to make a career out of this stuff. You're going to have to, there's a really good chance you're going to have to, if you don't have the skills, if you're in one of these lower brackets, engage in some shifty fuck behavior, right? Either in your dealings with the other shifty fuckers or just being a shifty fuck yourself. You have to play the game. If you don't realize the Machiavellian atmosphere you're in, you're literally you're playing tennis with one hand behind your back. What the fuck are you doing? I'm not saying do anything immoral. I'm just saying don't recognize certain elements. All right. So anyway, we just got done talking about how Kargoz did it wrong. Let's talk about how Esfand did it right. Okay. So I'm going to talk shit about him, but in a positive context. All right, so my personal beefs with Esfand are, number one, he's supposed to be a Paladin enthusiast, okay? He is a Paladin enthusiast. He keeps telling us at least he's a Paladin enthusiast, but he has done some stuff that make me question his level of, his Paladin enthusiasm has definitely been sacrificed on the altar of him getting a career. So I'll give you an example. So if you look at the old Classic WoW PvP tournaments, right, Esfand was in them. A bunch of other people who were from Crusade, Esfand's guild in Classic WoW, were in them. And if you look very closely, what you'll see is that Esfand is a top 100 paladin, PvP paladin. He's not top 50, he's not top 10, he's in the top 100. He is a decent paladin PvPer, but he does not belong in a fucking CDL tournament in Classic World of Warcraft. He is going to give paladins a bad name. Now, that would be perfectly fine. I'm perfectly happy to see Esfand in a Classic WoW dueling tournament. That wouldn't piss me off in the slightest. By all means, come into the dueling tournament, have Thunder Fury, have all the best gear because you're a guild master. I really don't care, right? I'm happy for you. I want to see you PvP. But then I look at the scene around him, like what are the other paladins in the scene? And that's where some shifty fuck starts appearing. Where it's like, okay, all these other paladins are also from Crusade. None of them are as good as he is. If Esfand is like, let's say he's the 100th best paladin in the world, at the time, Peaceblade has gotten much better, but at the time, Peaceblade was not as good of a PvPer as Esfand. And Peaceblade was there. Damn it, who's the other guy? Holy Saxboy has become a paladin monster. Both Peaceblade and Holy Saxboy are currently paladin monsters. They're much, much better PvPers than they used to be. Holy Saxboy might have been a little bit better than Esfand back in the day. I would definitely put him, like if Esfand was top 100, Holy Saxboy back in the day was probably top 50 or something like that. I would easily put Holy Saxboy top 10 best paladins in the world at this point, maybe even top 5, if that makes any sense. But the point is that Esfand, wherever possible, went out of his way to make sure that paladins were in the dueling tournament. Keep in mind, he was one of the guys running the dueling tournaments at the time, to magically make sure that there were no paladins in the tournament that were either A, better geared than him, or B, were more skilled than him. Holy Saxboy was significantly undergeared, more skilled, but significantly undergeared compared to Esfand. Are you following me on this? And I had to watch this in Classic WoW happen over and over and over again in every damn dueling tournament. You know who Esfand is best friends with from childhood? He's best friends from childhood with Drakova. Okay? Now, they're not best friends anymore precisely for some of the stuff that I'm talking about here right now. But back in the day, these two guys knew each other. So I'll give you an example. This is just my personal frustration on the matter, right? So in one of Esfand's dueling tournaments, like the last dueling tournament he actually dueled in, I had to watch him lose to a rogue while he had Thunder Fury. Okay, listen to me, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I had to watch Esfand lose a duel to a rogue, like a best out of 3 duels to a fucking rogue while he has Thunder Fury. Okay? Now, why was he losing those duels? Well, according to Drakova, who actually coached him against my advice, by the way, coached Esfand prior to that dueling tournament, Drakova told him put 3 points in shield specialization specifically so that you can block enough damage so that rogues cannot gouge you. So that if you block, when the rogue gouges you, it should fizzle. Now, I don't know if it still works like that in Classic World of Warcraft. I've been trying to replicate it, but at the time, I'm pretty sure that is actually how it was coded in Classic World of Warcraft, okay? Esfand did not take this advice because he had a thick boy shield and thick boy armor, and he figured he could just, eventually he'll parry a garrote or dodge a garrote or something. A gouge, my bad, not a garrote. A gouge, and a gouge is the frontal stun that rogues usually use to run the hell away from you, and then re-stealth and sap you, and then eat and open on you again, okay? That 3-second stun. If you can somehow avoid that 3-second stun, the rogue has to sit there for a very uncomfortable amount of time and get the shit kicked out of him by you. It's how you kill rogues, okay? It's killing rogues 101, all right? Esfand did not put the 3 points in. He's an idiot. And I watched the rogue gouge him over and 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 over again, and eventually got a good enough RNG lay that he killed him. And I'm like, cool. But I would point out that he's even stupider than that because he didn't have a Mugga Hurt. Okay? Mugga Hurt, buy it off the auction house. It's a blue weapon. It says chance on hit. You slow the target for 10 seconds. That 10-second slow is the only slow in the game that druids cannot get out of. It's a physical slow. You can remove it by freedom. You can remove it with bubble and ice block, and that is literally it. Nothing else removes that 10-second slow. If you're using Seal of Righteousness, it has a 10% chance to proc. If you icy weapon enchant the damn thing, you'll end up having close to a 15% chance every time you hit a target of putting some kind of slow on them. You don't need to block, dodge, or parry the gouge. You just need to get a fucking slow on them, and then it doesn't matter if they gouge you or not. They're not going to make enough distance in that 3-second stun before you catch back up to them and you beat the shit out of them. So Dracova's like, you're an idiot for not putting 3 points into shield specialization like I told you to in that duel. I was watching that duel going, where the fuck is your mugga hurt, you absolute fucking clown? And I did a review on it. That duel pissed me off to no end because I'm watching Esfand, Thunder Fury, Dracova's not in the tournament. Other top tier paladins are not in the tournament. Every other paladin in the tournament is either undergeared compared to him or is less skilled than he is. Motherfucker can't beat a rogue because he doesn't have mugga hurt. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, how stupid and dumb of a paladin PvPer do you have to be to think Thunder Fury is the way? I don't need no slow. Like, I don't need no man. Like, what the hell? Are you crazy? All right, so that pissed me off on a personal level. Like, oh, this is... Okay, and it's only gotten worse over the years because I just have to listen to other people tell me about how much Paladin sucks in PvP and how they don't win tournaments, and I lose my crap. Because if you don't know what's happening, is that if you watch Esfand in the tournaments and the CDLs and stuff like that, you would think Paladins suck. But if you watch like the private PvP scene, where it's just the guilds doing server events and stuff like that, Paladins crush it. And they usually crush it using either Dracova's advice or watching my guides, usually a combination of the two. They crush it. Talrain crushed it with the guides. A few others of them that I really should be able to shout out right now crush it with the guides, yada, yada, yada. Okay? Now, does that make Esfand a shifty fuck in his rise as a Paladin content creator? Absolutely. Right? That is some shifty fuck shit 110,000%. You do not have the skill level to hang, to be in these fucking tournaments. Why the hell am I watching paladins that even are even less skilled than you are? Why am I watching every paladin there is less well geared than you? Why is there no... I'm perfectly happy to have him in the tournament, but where's the Drakova? Right? Where's the Talrain? Where's the Palitimes? Where's the Lori? Where are... I forget his name. His name is like Troy's or something like that. Holy Sax Boy was there, thank God. Yeah, so you can see I'm just personally pissed off about that, even to this day. So yeah, shifty fuck behavior 101. And I can see it with my own two eyes. And I'm a good enough paladin PvPer at the cutting edge to know that, homie, what the fuck is going on here? This is engineered. Now, let me praise him. If you were trying to become the paladin guy in classic World of Warcraft, the guy that everyone goes to for paladin information, blah, 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 then what he did is completely acceptable and makes a ton of sense, and I will clap and praise him to no end. I will say, well played, sir. That is beautiful and amazing and awesome. He played the game masterfully, okay? He played the game masterfully because the only people he's going to piss off are people who are knowledgeable enough about Paladin to be sitting there watching the CDL tournaments and whatnot going, what the fuck? Like, why am I watching dog shit play? What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Right? Which is only going to be like, less than 5% of the Paladin player base. Beautiful. Well played. No, seriously. This is sometimes just what you have to do to get ahead in life. Okay? If it was just that, I would only be mildly pissed off at Esfand. But there's other little shifty fucks, like I've said before, things that he do that I can't prove. But the symptoms are there. And if I'm observing the symptoms, I have to ask myself, is this intentional? Is this unintentional? I'm going to assume it's intentional until proven otherwise. What symptoms am I talking about here? Well, if you haven't noticed, since I haven't been making PvP guides, and I haven't been making PvE leveling guides for YouTube for Season of Discovery at all, all the nobody's commenting on PvP stuff to any real significant degree, because I've been keeping track of this. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this. It's back to the whole, you're not smart enough to be a trailblazer, to discover new things on your own, so you have to steal it from other people. So if I make a PvP guide telling people this is how you beat this class, Within a month or so, the next thing I know, I'm hearing from Esfand that people will ask him in chat, like, how do you beat this class? And then literally elements, the core and key and critical elements of my guides will come out of Esfand's mouth. Whereas before, they did not exist. Now I'm watching them come out of his mouth. But even though the advice from my guides, the wisdom from my guides is coming out of Esfand's mouth, what never comes out of his mouth, not once, not ever, is my name. I'm pretty sure I've never, ever, ever heard Esfand mention my name ever. Why? I'm the potential competition. Now, I'm not competition because, honestly, I'm not competition at all. I know I'm not competition. Maybe he didn't get the memo, but I'm definitely not. Why? I don't have the passion for it, if that makes sense. I don't care enough about everything to put all the energy into editing the videos, cutting down my content to be more concise, all the little nuanced things that you need to do in order to be the tippy top of this particular environment. I have no interest in that whatsoever. I have my own things and my own interests that I'm doing in. All that stuff is a complete waste of time. Paladin, particularly in PvP, is just a hobby for me. So when I'm not working, I'm using my 145 IQ to crunch the numbers on Paladin and Classic World of Warcraft and make videos. That's the extent of my ambitions when it comes to being in this space, if that makes any sense. So I'm not a threat at all. But I find it interesting to, I don't want to tell anybody this, and just to sit back and see who are going to be my allies, who's going to mention my name, who's going to give me a shout out, and who's going to completely fucking ignore me while stealing my goddamn ideas and presenting them as if it was their own. Now, has Esfand ever presented my... Now, again, here's where Esfand does it right, and I have to praise him. Okay, and Kargoz did this to an extent as well. Esfand never presents any of the PvP ideas as his own unless they are specifically his own. And for that, I have to give him credit. Kargoz was a bit more shifty on the subject, where he would tell people how to do this, and then every once in a while he'd throw out some names, but he wouldn't throw out other names. And I always thought that was kind of weird, if that makes any sense. But I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I just try to look for such things. Right, so I gotta praise Esfand. He's playing the game correctly, if that makes sense. Play the game like Esfand, not like Kargoz, is basically what I'm trying to say. Alright, what else is there to talk about here? Yeah, so let's talk about my... Yeah, okay. So here's why I can't blame these people too much. Now that I've spent damn near an hour talking crap about all these guys, let me talk about why I cannot blame them too much. For being a little Machiavellian here, for being a little morally flexible, for being a little shifty fuck on the subject. I'm going to blame Kargoz a little bit, and I'm going to blame Esfand almost not at all. I have personal beef with it on the subject because apparently he's a Paladin enthusiast who knows Paladin PvP stuff, and he'll happily tell you how to Paladin PvP, but, I'm just never going to actually mention Palitime's name or the Palicasts or anything like that. That's never going to come out of my mouth. All right, well played, sir, but also fuck you. That's my personal beef on the matter. But if I step back and I look at it in the grand scheme of things, if I put myself in these people's shoes, right, they want to make a career out of this stuff. They want to win. They want to be top dog, and they have deficiencies. They have weaknesses, and they need to combat against them as much as possible without trying to whilst being as trustworthy as possible. So unfortunately for them, they're in a position where they kind of have to engage in some shifty stuff, or they just have to let the passion itself push them to victory, if that makes any sense. So, for example, Esfand and others are more successful at Paladin than I am, by far than I am. I'll throw Calamity under the bus here, but in a good way. He, whatever the hell it is far more. It's either a girl with a masculine voice, or it's a man with a effeminate voice. Kind of come to mind. Barney, yay, Barney. But Barney is actually trans, so I can definitely say that he likes being called a she, so we'll call him a she. as best to my ability, which means very little. Believe it or not, I have a lot of trans fans, believe it or not, that I play with in classic World of Warcraft, and I just call them dude. I call everybody dude. I gave up on it. I'm like, dude's gender neutral. Dude, guy, buddy, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm actually personally kind of pissed off by the whole cancel culture thing in general. I don't like being told what to do. So people are like, oh, you need to do this. And my first response is always, fuck you. Fuck you, make me. Fuck you, make me. Fuck you, make me. That's just my personality. How about fuck you, make me? Am I doing anything immoral? No? Okay, cool. Fuck you, make me. But anyways, yeah, Calamity. Calamity makes really good videos. She does a spectacular job on them, and he or she has a hell of a lot more videos or subs than I do. He's like 7,000, 6,000 subs, something like that. What's up? You okay? Right, so you have to let your work ethic win the day, and then pray that people like me don't have the same ambition that you do. Because if I have the same ambition, suddenly I'm actually like editing my videos properly, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Oh, there's another thing that I didn't mention that you really have to do in this space specifically. Again, cheating is a fine art, right? Cheating is a fine art. Let's go find Esfand here really fast. Esfand, okay. So let's look at how many subs Esfand has, okay. Okay, the biggest WoW launch I've ever seen. Update Paladin, because that's Paladin specific. Let's look at this interview thing here, because this is I want to get a general audience video of his. All right, so Esfand has almost 300,000 subscribers. Okay. Damn it, I don't want this. Go away. So he has 300,000 subs. Actually, okay, thank you. All right, so our boy here has 300,000 subscribers. He can put out a video that's 20 hours old that would be a general audience video that just about anybody and their dog can tab over and just listen to, right? Interviewing the WoW dev team. And he only has 50,000 views in 20 hours. What's more damning than looking at the views is the comments. He has less than 400 comments in his video. Okay? That's not bad, but only 400 comments, which is really weird if you think about it. These numbers are not adding up. What the hell is going on? Well, I live in China. I can tell you exactly what's going on. You can buy bots, and you can buy views, and you can buy comments, and you can buy subs. The subs are cheaper than the views, and the views are cheaper than the comments, like obviously, right? So, for example, with my channel of about 3,000 subscribers, I could easily go from 3,000 to 30,000 subscribers living in China at the snap of my fingers. But the vast majority of those subs and the vast majority of those views would be fake. And there would be evidence of that based upon the amount of commenting traffic, the actual amount of views, like, blah, 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 blah. There would be a pretty solid discrepancy between A and B, if that makes any sense. So, for example, Esfand, 300,000 subscribers, has a video out for 20 hours, only 50,000 views, but you can easily bot that as well, with a grand total of 300 comments. Let's go check out Paladin's videos, who does not bot at all, and never fucking will. But if I wanted to win in this space, that's some place to go, right? So, Warlock SOD tier list. That is a little bit of a more broader topic video that I've made. You can see that of my 3,000 subs, almost half of them showed up. 43 fucking comments. Okay? These are the proper numbers that you're supposed to have, or close to, when you actually make good content and it's not fake. Okay, here's a 2,301. What the hell did I do? Season of Discovery, and hardcore plans. Okay, cool. Like to dislike ratio, damn near 3,000 people. Well, okay, 2,500. Let's not get carried away. 88 comments. These are the numbers that you're supposed to have. Here's a 3,000. What the hell is this? 1 to 60 hardcore leveling guide. Everything you know. This is a Paladin specific guide video on a Paladin specific channel. And probably every one of my subs watched the damn thing. 97% upvote, 31. Okay? Again, these are the numbers that you're supposed to have if you're not a shifty fuck. But if you're playing the game to win, you have to be a shifty fuck, and we need to get these numbers up. The fact that I only have 3,000 subs screams to the community that I am not a threat to them. It should scream that I'm not a threat to them, because what it means is I'm not taking this seriously. I'm not playing the game correctly. If I type in Calamity, Calamity, There we go. No. Go back. No. We want Paladin. Class. Classic. Wow. Do it. Okay, so we got Calamity here. 7 point, Summer Sawad K subs, right? Puts out a video, 11K, 7K, 7K. This is, all these numbers are telling me is that Homeboy don't cheat, right? Homeboy here don't cheat. And therefore I got respect for it, if that makes sense. Drama to conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, because that's his name. Tin Violet, what the, Hat Time, Drama, Conspiracy. What's his name? Did you just put him on the title? I need to go his name. I don't know, whatever. He's got like 67,000 subs. Stay Safe TV has got like a couple 100,000, yada, yada, yada. If you want to win in this space, you need to get promoted by the algorithm. You need to cheat. You need to buy subs. So when I see statistics that are telling me that this guy is popular, this guy is innovative, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about, and Calamity has only got like 7.13K subs, our boy here is on the level, and he's not pumping up his numbers, if that makes any sense. Okay, cool. So that was the last thing I wanted to mention, is I'm just trying to point out all the signs in this space that you can take a look at to see what's going on actually behind the scene. Who's being a shifty fuck, who's playing the game properly, who's not playing the game properly, who's a threat, who's not a threat. In my assessment of Esfand is, all signs are pointing to him playing the game. All signs are him being a little bit of a Machiavellian shifty fuck. However, I can excuse all of this in my mind on the grounds of a simple fact that if you want to play a game, if you find yourself in a game that you did not make the rules to, and you have no choice but to play it to win it or to fail, okay? I cannot fault a man, if I'm watching a man playing the game as much as he can do while being as moral as they can while doing it, right? That's why I say he's a 3 out of 10 shifty fuck. He's clearly, but it's nothing like Kargoz, if that makes any sense, all right? Asmongold will openly admit to being a shifty fuck, right? But because he's, that's his way of dealing with it, because he openly admits it, it's fine. Because he openly admits it, it makes him significantly less of a shifty fuck. He's not being deceitful, and therefore you can like him more, if that makes any sense. So anyways, that's what I see in all this. So I see a little bit of what's going on with Kargoz and Esfand, but it's totally forgivable because Homie just wants to be in this space and to make a career out of it. And you got to do what you got to do. You got to understand the game. You got to know that you got to be a little bit Machiavellian about it. Kargoz definitely knows. I'll get him on screen here. Kargoz definitely knew he was in the game. He's got all the signs of being a shifty fuck. He's got like Asmongold level signs of being a shifty fuck, and you need to know what the hell you're dealing with. If you are a lesser content creator and you are a trailblazer with like new ideas and you're trying to put together a PvP tournament like what happened to the guy in the Alex Sensual video, I'm sorry, bro, but you got to know the space you're existing in, and you got to know that this isn't just Steam. So you can say, oh, Steam is or not Steam, streaming is a shifty industry, blah, 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 blah. No, like just about every business is like this, my dude. Like grow up. Like go read The Prince, Machiavelli's The Prince. Grow up. And that's not me trying to like to rag on you or anything. I get it. I'm the type of person who is hell-bent and psychotic about being a moral, upstanding person, okay? And yes, it does make it a little bit painful for me whenever that comes at my personal expense, whenever I can't advance because I want to be an honest, open person and I don't want to be morally dubious or do anything like that, right? Yeah, I'm going to suffer for it. Thank God I have other advantages, if that makes any sense. But being a shifty fuck has positives and negatives, and being a moral and upstanding person also has positives and negatives. It's not, the game can be played in both ways. The problem is if you're trying to be in an industry where you don't have all the ability to compete at the highest level, the next best thing to do is to be a shifty fuck. Like that's basically like the laws of the jungle kind of a thing, right? If you don't have the strength and the power to actively hunt and kill the gazelle yourself, The next best thing to do is to find the weak and prey on them, or to steal the kills off of other people. That's just the law of the nature, and it's also the same with human beings. All right, so yeah, so I can't fault them too much for playing the game. My hat's off to them for playing the game. I think Esfand is doing it right. I think Asmongold is doing it right. Jostride Hayes is doing it right. They have certain advantages. Preach is doing it right. Esfand is the only one that I can think of that's a shifty fuck off the top of my head that I can actually point to and say that he's actually doing it right. We can say Kargoz did it wrong. Kargoz had a really good thing going on. He was top dog in a very specific scene, and he fucked it up because he was a shifty fuck. Right? Karma's a bitch, and it will come for your ass. All right, cool. The last thing to talk about here, and yeah, I know this video is getting really long, is the whole Blizzard thing. So, I deleted it, or I turned off the video. But you remember that video that was with all the screenshots at the start, where it was like all the collusion between Kargoz and Blizzard and yada yada yada. That's not a bad thing. That's just the marketing industry. Like, that is literally just the marketing industry. You want to find the person with the most subs possible, with the most views, and the most comments and possible, and you want to try to ascertain how many of those views are legitimate and real and unique, if that, like, actual fucking human beings as opposed to pumped up numbers. Like we can see Esfand's numbers are clearly pumped up. And you want to see upvotes and downvotes and that sort of thing. And you want to market with them, right? My wife is in the marketing industry, okay? Which actually she's kind of a jack of all trades. She's been a video game producer. She's made her own gauge. She's got a master's degree in programming, and she's got a double master's degree in crap. But currently, and for a while now, her job has been in marketing, and this is just part of the game for Blizzard. So it's not like, they're conspiring to do this, to do that, to give special treatment, and yada, yada, yada. Blizzard's, the marketing team of Blizzard is stuck in the exact same scenario where it's like there's these two groups of people that have the vast majority of the views that they can choose to deal with. Some of them are going to be upfront and honest and might not give good reviews a good review. They might not play the game the way Blizzard would prefer them to play the game. Again, that would be your Asmongold, that would be your Preach, that would be your Jostrive Hayes, that would be your Bellular Gaming. That's another really good one. Bellular has shown no signs of being a shifty fuck whatsoever. But I didn't throw him on the list earlier because I don't think Bellular's smart, but he's not definitely not at the top end tier of smart. He's definitely using his passion to counteract a lack of ability. But he still is abilitied enough to be a top dog in that space. But they might not play the game because they're not going to be shifty fucks, and they don't have to be shifty fucks. Nothing is, no world economic or anything is pushing them to need to be a shifty fuck. It's in their best interest to not play the game with their abilities and their talents as a shifty fuck. You'd be a fool to play the game as a shifty fuck if you're top dog in the stream, in the scene, which is why I'm very critical of Kargoz here. Kargoz did not. He found a space where he could be top dog. Speed leveling and guide making, particularly for hardcore classic World of Warcraft. He found it, and he fucked it up because he still wanted to, even though he found the top end position, he still played it like a shifty fuck. Don't do that. Bad idea. Okay, so Blizzard could either deal with the Asmongolds and the Jostrive Hazes who aren't going to pull their punches, and they're going to say things that they're going to play the game the way Blizzard marketing team would prefer the game to be played. The other group they can work with are these shifty fucks here who naturally band together anyways, which helps to corral and coordinate them. And they are Machiavellian enough and are aware of the game enough, because that's the only way you get to be this high level in indie industry, that they will play the game, right? They'll play the game the way Blizzard the marketing team wants to play the game. In exchange, they get some preferential treatment. Welcome to the laws of the jungle, people. Like, this is human nature. This is how the games are played. This is what happens when interests and ability and lack of ability and competition collide. All right, so is what it is. So I'm going to be highly critical of Kargoz and all this stuff. I'm going to praise and clap my hands off of Esfand. I don't think anybody else here, to my knowledge, is a shifty fuck. I don't think this guy is a shifty fuck. His subs and his numbers say that he's boosting a little bit, but he's struggling enough that it's not. Yeah, I don't think he knows his place, and I think he's perfectly happy staying there. I'm pretty sure she's not a shifty fuck. Seen some shifty stuff out of Esfand, but I don't know these two enough to warrant it. And of course, we have Kargoz here, who has been showing signs of being shifty fuck for a long time now. Anyways, so that's what I see, if that makes any sense. All right, so I'm ending the video here. I am going to attempt to put the dog in his cage and sleep with the wife for once. And try to train him not to whine too much, even though he's going to be miserable. But the truth is, I'm just have to get up in like an hour or two anyways and go play Season of Discovery. If you didn't know, Drakova is currently leveling in Season Discovery. I'm throwing silver at him for the time being because, again, I am a real Paladin enthusiast, and I want to see Talrain in these dueling tournaments. I want to see Drakova in these dueling tournaments, even if I myself cannot participate because of potential internet connectivity issues. I haven't seen any internet connectivity issues. You know what? I'll make a quick short video and just I'll keep this video short. All right, Deus Volt boys.